it's very important that we understand brain has immense power, and many times now this is something that I would like to ask all of you now. How many of you have ever felt that you are not getting the degree of success that you're looking at? Many times you would have felt that you're working hard, but you are not achieving that kind of marks, right? You have higher level of stress out. You are not able to maintain that work life balance. Work life balance, what I mean is, you're getting too stressed with the household work, maintaining a balance between your friends, your college work, your family time, your social media time. Many times you feel burnout. You feel that you are getting too tired, too stressed, right? How often do you feel that, say, like, I could have done better? I've worked so hard, but why is it so that my marks do not depict that kind of performance that I was capable of? How many of you have felt this? I think more often than this, we would have felt this time and again, that we have not achieved the degree of success that we are looking for. You know why? Why? Because we have not harnessed the full power of our brain. It is said that on an average human being only uses his brain power to an extent of 3% only. I repeat, only 3%, which means 97% of the ability of our brain goes wasted. Just visualize it. If you could learn how to harness, exploit, use your brain properly, which will help you to be far more successful, right? Less stressed, people will start respecting you more, the degree of success would be higher. How many of you would love to have that kind of experience wherein you do not feel stress to work, you do not feel stress going to the college, you do not feel stressed of maintaining proper relationship with your family, with your friends, with your teachers, with your classmates, right? You feel that, so like, you are able to manage things properly. Now it all is possible. Now, very important part that you have to understand, it's how we think. The brain is more like, in a simple term, if I have to tell you how the brain works, remember, so like, the computer that we work on. Just visualize a simple computer. There is an input, there is a process, and there is output. Like, for example, the monitor that you can see shows you whatever you input. You input some messages or some commands on the keyboard. So your keyboard would be the input device, right? Your output is the screen, the computer screen or the laptop screen that you see, right? But what you see on the screen is purely based on the command. And what processes those commands? It is the computer. Similarly, our human mind is a processing unit. It only does what it is told to be done. The set of chain of commands that are given by us. It is we, our thinking, our thoughts, that determines what we do and how we react to life situations. It is how we react to life, how we tell our brain. Now, for example, it's a traffic jam. Just visualize it. It's a traffic jam. You're driving. Now it's a lockdown time. Just visualize it. It's just about to be 2. It's quarter to 2, and you're almost about 15-20 minutes away from your home. And you're quarter to 2. At quarter to 2, there is a huge traffic jam, and you're in the midst of the traffic jam. Just visualize the kind of stress that you would be going through. Now, is there something that you can do about it? Nothing. But still, what happens? We get stressed. We start shouting. We start honking, and then what happens? We see, we feel restless. We start scolding people. We start abusing people and all. Now, can you do something about it? You can't do anything about it. So, what you can't do about it, why do we take stress, right? So it's all about how we think. Our thinking determines our actions determine what degree of success we achieve in life. So my whole session today, I'm just going to share my screen. The whole session that today I'll be talking about is how and to what degree of success you can reach, and how you can be far more successful in life. So let me take you through the session, and I hope you'll be able to see my screen. Are you able to see the screen, please? Shravan sir, is my screen visible to all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So the topic for the day is training your brain for success. How to get maximum potential out of your brain, how to make sure that your brain performs at optimum level without getting stressed, you don't feel burnout, and you achieve the degree of success that you're looking for or aiming at. That's the point of discussion today. Now, I will start with a very, very famous quote of Henry Ford. Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can and or you think you cannot, under both circumstances, you are right. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. Now, what does it mean? What does this very popular quote means? Okay, this quote talks about our attitude. It is said that our attitude is what our thinking is affected by our attitude. Like, for example, as I just gave you an example, I'm in a traffic jam, midst of a traffic jam. One way I can show my attitude will determine my actions. One is I take it angrily, and my attitude would be shouting, honking, and all. Or the second thing, if I'm in a car, what I do is that I think that, can I do something about it? If I can't do anything about it, why not utilize that time? Why not utilize that time instead of honking, instead of shouting at people? Why not listen to some music? Why not listen to some audio tapes? Why not utilize my time or call up my friends, some friends with whom I'm not in touch for a long time? Why don't I do that? So what happens? My attitude determines my reaction. And based on my reaction, I can be one angry person at one point of time, or I can be cool, calm, composed person. Instead of shouting, cribbing, I can utilize my time to learn with some audio tapes. I can call up my friends. I can call up my family. I can do something more productive, right? I can if I'm stranded, I can even keep looking at my messages, right? So I can utilize my time. So if I think, whether you think you can or you think you cannot, under both circumstances, you are right. So this quote talks about your attitude determining your mindset. I'll talk about more about it a little while, but let me give you one example. What do I mean by having a right thinking? Okay, now this is just a test of cricket knowledge. Now I'm talking about men's one-day international. The first one-day international was played in the year 1971 at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Right, Melbourne Cricket Ground, the first one-day international was played. The first century was scored immediately 1 year after the first one-day was played. The second one-day, English batsman scored the first century in the year 1972. My question to you all guys is, when was the first double century scored and by whom? Who scored the first double century? It is said cricket is a religion in the country. So my question to you all cricket buffs is, who scored the first double century in men's cricket and when? Okay. Piyush? Piyush? Piyush, Rohit, anybody? Okay, Piyush, can you unmute yourself and say? Piyush?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That is scored by Sachin.
Absolutely. The god of cricket. Sachin Tendulkar scored his first double century. Can you visualize, when did he score the first double century? The first double century in men's cricket was scored in the year 2010. 38 years after the first century was done. It took 38 years and 4,000 one-day international to score the first double century. Can you visualize this? It took 38 years for somebody. There would be thousands of players who would have played for various countries, but it took one person to score a first double century 38 years after the first century was scored. Now what happens? People thought it was next to impossible to score a double century in one day international. There was Brian Lara who had scored a means what do you say, quadruple century. Brian Lara had scored twice 400s against England, but nobody thought it was possible for any cricket player to score a double century in one day international. It's a thinking. But Sachin proved it otherwise in the year 2010, 24th of February 2010. Sachin Tendulkar proved it otherwise with his thinking. He said, it is possible. If you work hard, if you're consistent, if you go aggressive, you can score it. He changed the thinking. Suddenly people saw, oh wow, man, it's like scoring double century is not impossible. 38 years later, Sachin showed it's possible. And what happened next is history. From 2010 till now, there are 8 people, I repeat, from 2010 till now, there are 8 people who have scored double centuries. And our famous hitman, that is Rohit Sharma, have scored 3 double centuries. Just visualize it. 38 years, nobody thought it was possible to score a double century. Sachin Tendulkar showed in the year 2010 that yes, it is possible to score a double century. And after that, people saw, oh wow, people started thinking differently. Oh, it's possible. Why can't we score a double century? Not only double century, Rohit Sharma went on to score 264 runs, the highest so far. Not 200, but 264 runs. Tomorrow it might be that somebody might even score a triple century. So anything can be achieved if you think over here that yes, I can. So the important part is your thinking determines your performance. The way you think determines your action. So again, please understand, our human brain does exactly what it is told. If you tell it you can do it, it will do it. If you tell it that you can't do it, it will never do it. So you think, so like, just imagine your teacher gives you assignment, or first time you have to do something, and your brain says, no boss, it is too dangerous, it is too risky, you shouldn't do it. Will you ever do it? No, you will either not do it, or you will not be successful even if you do it. Instead, you say, wow, it's an amazing opportunity, let me do it, let me get the best out of it. I'll give my best. If you have that kind of mindset, you will perform better, right? So I'll take you through some very important quotes. It is said, you get the best out of others when you get the best out of yourself. This quote was given by Harvey S. Firestone. What he said was, before you try to get the best of others, you should be able to get the best out of yourself. If you can't get the best out of yourself, if you can't perform at your level best, you can't get good things from others too. So it is said, if you want to make changes in life, you must look at the causes and the way you are using your mind. Your mind is a very, very important. You know what's the size of a human brain, right? You know how much it weighs? It is said close to about 2 pounds. 2 pounds is about probably it should be about I would say 2% of our body weight, right? It is said a human brain is roughly around 2% of our body weight. It's closely about 4 pounds, or about roughly it is about 2 kilograms. But if you see, though the brain is so small, it does wonders for you if you know how to use it. You would have heard of Newton's law, third law of Newton. Every action has an equal and an opposite reaction. Think of it. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. What does it mean? Cause and effect, right? If you have not been working hard for exams, if you have not been preparing for the exams much before the exam, what would be the result? Failure. What caused that particular failure? Because you didn't study. You have not been attending classes. You have been bunking classes, or even if you have been attending classes just for namesake, especially now today online classes, you just switched on your laptop, put audio and video on mute, right? And then say like you're going around and all. So what happened? You were not serious. If you're not serious, what kind of result can you expect? Your result would not be that very good. So what I'm saying is, in life, it's always a cause and effect. What caused it, right? If you study well, will it be a surprise that you not only pass, but you pass with flying colors, higher grades? Will it be a surprise? No. Why? Because success is not by fluke. Success is not by chance. The good people work their way towards success. That's the reason why I'm saying, always remember, to make changes in life, you must look to the causes and the way you are using your mind. If you learn to harness, I repeat, exploit and harness the power of your mind, the way you are thinking, anything can be achieved. If you think you are capable, you will be a top performer. If you think you're not capable, you will not only be underperformer, but also say like you'll be averagely successful or poorly successful in life. So the degree of success that you achieve in life depends on how well you're using your brain, and your brain, how well you use your brain determines how or what you are thinking, right? It's your thought that determines action. Your brain will only do what it has been told, right? So think positive. So very important. There are two types of thinking. One is what we call as positive thinking. Second one is called as a negative thinking, right? Now positive thinking is about what? Positive thinking is, yes, I'm capable, yes, I can do it, right? Everything is good, everything is nice around me, right? I'm capable, right? My friends are nice, my family is supportive, right? These are positive thinking. Negative thinking is, oh wow man, will exams happen? What will happen? Exams dates have not come in. What about lockdown, right? How will it affect my studies, right? My admissions, my this, my that. These are negative thinking, right? What happens? Negative thinking affects your brain and suppresses you. I repeat, it suppresses you, and it makes your brain less productive. Whereas positive thinking, when you think positive, when your brain is happy, it produces an enzyme called as dopamine. It it's it's a happy feeling. So like what happens, your brain performs well. It's a good food for your brain. Like how omega rich supplements can help your brain perform better. Similarly, good thoughts or positive thoughts can make your brain happy, right? Happy brain produces dopamine. Dopamine helps you to perform better without feeling stress. So negative thought burns out your brain. Positive thoughts makes your brain happy. If you think good about others, if you feel happy, you will perform better. But if you feel tense, if you feel nervous, these are negative thoughts. Oh, I can't do it, right? No, this is not right. Should I be doing it? If you have those kind of thoughts, it will produce negative results. So always remember, it's, I would say, positive or negative thoughts determines the change. All right. So that's very, very important. I repeat, now you all got to remember this. It is the mindset that separates the best from the rest. What kind of mindset you have? Do you have the winner's mindset? Do you say, I'm least bothered about what's happening around me? I am capable, I am deserving, right? I am worthy. And success belongs to me only. If you have that kind of mindset, what we call as a winner's mindset, you should not be surprised if you're successful. But if you have a loser's mindset, that you have a negative mindset, no, things are not right, petrol prices are rising, right? Lockdown is increasing. Will the government extend the lockdown after 10th? Why do you bother about those negative things, right? Corona cases are increasing day on day, right? Medical expenses are rising. What can you do about it? Nothing, right? Why do you have this negative mindset, negativity around you? See, if you have negativity around you, so like it will affect your brain negatively and its performance will decrease. So a positive mindset results in a happy brain. A happy brain performs well. So I repeat, mindset is what separates the best from the rest. So you decide whether you are going to have a winner's mindset or a loser's mindset, right? So brain, to now we'll discuss why brain is important, right? Let's see. It is said when brain works right, you study well in college. When your brain is troubled, you have trouble in college too, right? So it's always remember the brain has to be happy. If your brain is happy, it works right. And when it works right, you perform well not only in college, but you are very happy at home. Your parents are happy with you, your siblings are very happy with you, and you are a happy character. And a happy character is always successful. Whereas when the brain is troubled, when you are stressed, when you're thinking about some negative thing, you see, you act restless, you act angry, right? You always fight with your siblings, right? You always crib, you always cry over the phone. You are a crybaby over the phone when you talk to your friends also. So you have trouble not only at home, but even at the college, even with the studies. So you determine why brain is important. And the next thing that you have to understand is optimizing your brain is the secret to be not only a successful student, but a successful person in life. So I'm not only going to talk about how you can be more successful as a student, but more successful in life. All right. So moving on, let's see how do you optimize your brain. There are three steps, three simple steps in which you can optimize your brain. Three simple strategies. Love your brain. Your brain is a wonderful. How you love yourself when you stand in front of the mirror. What? How many of you say this to yourself more often? Oh wow, you're the most beautiful person. Oh wow, you're handsome. Remember the movie Jab We Met, right? In that, Kareena Kapoor always keeps saying, "मैं अपनी सबसे favorite हूँ." What does it talk about? It talks about high self-esteem. How do you see yourself? Are you in love with yourself? If you don't love yourself, nobody else will love you. Trust me. If you do not love yourself, if you do not respect yourself, nobody else will respect you. So similarly, you should love your brain. Your brain is a wonderful thing. It will be with you for lifetime. Keep it happy. Like how it's like there are many of us who exercise, right? Who exercise, who always are fitness freak. How many of you exercise your brain? How many of you meditate? How many of you relax? How many of you do not stress your brain? How many of you have proper sleep? If having a proper sleep is one way in which you can rejuvenate your brain, right? Let your brain not get stressed with negativity, and you will avoid negativity. Why? Because you love your brain, you care for your brain, you don't want it to be stressed out, you don't want it to burn out, you want it to be healthy. That's the reason why I'm saying avoid negative thoughts, stay positive. Remember, you cannot have two contradicting thoughts together. Either you'll have negative thoughts or you'll have positive thoughts. Negative thoughts will make you unsuccessful, positive thoughts will make you successful. So you determine what kind of thoughts will you have in life, positive or negative. So I repeat, love your brain, keep it healthy. How you keep your body healthy? By exercising. The exercise for brain is do not take stress, right? Keep your brain healthy by eating proper food, avoiding bad habits like smoking, right? Or night outs, or fatty foods and all those things. That's one way in loving your brain. Avoid the thing that hurts your brain. I just give you an example how you can avoid things that hurts your brain. It is said junk food or food that has heavy oil hurts your brain. Whereas a positive thing that can supplement your brain is the omega acids, right? If you eat like fish oil helps your brain perform better, right? Similarly, less stress. If you don't take much of stress, your brain would be healthy. So these are things that you can do and things that you can avoid. Don't take too much of stress. Don't overstress your brain. Like for example, a night out before the exam. Why do you have to wait till the last day of the exam to study? And when you study night out, what are you doing? You're exerting too much of pressure on your brain. Am I right? When you exert too much of pressure on your brain, what happens? Your brain gets heated, right? Your brain starts underperforming. And that's the reason why there are a lot of people who feel that particular problem of forgetting things. You know who has this particular habit of forgetting things? People who stress their brain, people who put too much of pressure on the brain, people who postpone or procrastinate things till the last minute. These are the people who hurt their brain the most. Do the thing that to help the brain. I've just spoken quite a few things. Stress less, worry less, and your brain would be a top performing brain, right? Do not worry about things that does not concern you. Like for example, who will win 2024 election? Does it really affect you? Does it really matter? No, guys, it doesn't matter. Like for example, job condition out in the marketplace. Now you start thinking, will I get a job after 3 years? Past 3 years is a long, long time. Why do you need to worry about 3 years? Just be in your present, work towards your future. But see, future is beyond anybody's consideration. What the government will do is not in your hand, but what you can do to yourself, it's in your hand. Be concerned about that, not about things that you cannot. I'll explain you more in detail about.
So, Jitendra sir, I think you're muted. So you're on mute. So, Jitendra sir, can you please unmute yourself?
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes, sir. You were
Oh.
muted.
I'm really sorry. I don't know how it got muted.
No, it's all right, sir.
Okay. So important part. What the gist of what I've told so far about how to change your life or what you think or your mindset is always keep your mindset positive. Always keep a positive mindset. The key to success is having a right frame of mind. A positive mind performs better, a negative mind is an underperformer. How you think determines what you do. What you do determines your future. I hope you understood so far, right? So the gist of what I spoke so far is having a positive mindset, having positive thinking makes your brain perform better. A performing brain helps you achieve the degree of success that you are looking for. So that's the key. Now, going on further, now how to get the best out of life? The first and the foremost thing that I advise all my students to do to be successful, how to get the best out of your brain, is make a to-do list. Now, what I mean by to-do list is write down few things, right? Like for example, what you're supposed to do today or in the next 1 week, write it down on a piece of paper. If you are not writing it down, if you think that okay, I'm just putting it in my mind, the to-do list is in mind, you will not be able to do that. Write a to-do list. Now a to-do list can be anything and everything that you are supposed to do today. Now it can be going and getting vegetables, spending time with your dog, right? Even if you have to bathe your dog, also write it down, right? Everything you write it down, And then what you do is prioritize it. Prioritize it is what things are important. You give them more like a 5-star rating. Less important, you can give them a 3-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star. And those which are not 3-star, strike them off. I repeat, something that is not important, something which is very, very important, you put a 5-star, right? For example, so like you have to take your dad for a medical checkup. It's a very, very important thing. Can you skip that? No, it's very, very important. So you put 5-star. A pressing assignment. Tomorrow you have to submit probably one of your favorite, one of your tough faculties assignment. Can you skip it? No, you can't skip it. Do you have to do it? Absolutely, you have to do it. So the priority would be 5-star rating. So that means you have to do, must do kind of activity. 4-star, yes, you should do it. 3-star, should do it. But 2-star and 1-star is can avoid doing it. 1-star would be it's time wasters. Let's not spend some time on it. So this is how you can prioritize and eliminate, filter out the non-essential. And very soon when you write it down, you will realize most of the time that we spend in our day is for non-productive things. I repeat, most of the time that we spend in a day is for non-productive list. That's the one advantage of writing a to-do list. Next, what you do is spend time on more of higher level cognitive tasks. What I mean by cognitive is that improves your thinking, right? Or your ability to see the bigger picture and all, something that improves you as a person, your personality, right? Something that is going to help you in long-term success. Spend more time on that. I would rather say, do not spend time, invest time in yourself on the more important task that is going to take you to the next level. If you are not working every day on a task that is going to take you to the next level, you're just spending your day. You're not utilizing your day, you're just spending your day. And people who spend their day just like it are averagely successful. But people who think not only for today, but think for a better tomorrow, decide what are the priorities in life, prioritize the things, and eliminate non-essential things from the life, spend much more time of the day on important cognitive tasks. And lastly, doing this, when you do it repeatedly, not just one day, not just for 1 week, if you have been doing this repeatedly over a period of time, it makes you far more productive, less stress. You know why less stress? Why? Because at the end of the day, you have not left over important things. Most of the important things you have done, non-important things like, oh, calling your friend just to say hello, it was not important. And you have avoided that, right? Instead of that, you have spent more time on the more important things. It makes you productive. It makes you successful, and your brain is less stressed. Your brain is happy. Your brain is a performing brain and not a stressed out brain. So one way in which we can reduce the stress level of our brain is make a to-do list. To-do list helps you prioritize things, eliminating non-essential things, spend time more on the productive time on the important task, and makes you more productive and less stressed. Okay. Now, what do I mean by stress less? Now, stress makes your brain think you're in danger. Okay. Lakshmi, you're raising your hand. A question? Lakshmi, you can unmute yourself, and if you have a question, you can ask. Or should we keep the, Shravan sir, is it okay if I keep the questions to the end?
Yes, sir. That will be perfect, because
Okay.
otherwise the students will be.
Yeah, I do understand. Lakshmi, just write down your question. I promise to come back to it. Please.
Yes, requesting all the students while going through the session, please document your questions. At the end of the session, we will be having Q&A. At the time, we will be addressed all the questions by the sir itself.
Perfect.
Thank you, students.
Thank you, sir. So stress makes your brain think that you're in danger. Whenever, see, our brain is conditioned in such a manner that whenever we face some danger, we act in two ways: fight or flight. Fight is you face situation, learn how to challenge situation and learn to overcome that situation. That's one way of acting towards any situation. The second way that majority of us do is, whenever we face a challenge, what we try to do is run away from it. Fight or flight. Flight is bhag jana, right? Most of us perform in this two ways. So whenever brains feel stressed, it feels that it's in danger. It responds by increasing the level of alertness. It's in high alert situation. And what happens when you're in high alert situation? The brain is focused on survival, right? The brain says, oh, now what should I do, right? The brain starts performing like, remember when you are tense, you overthink, right? You feel so like samajh mein nahi aa raha hai, what to do, you don't know how to react and all. What happens because of this? When the stress rises, your brain does not function well. I repeat, when you feel stressed, your brain does not perform at optimum level. And hence, since your brain is more focused on survival, since your brain is more focused on other things, it does not get the time for the routine regeneration. The brain needs rest. The brain occasionally needs to regenerate itself. It does not get time for it. And because of which, what happens? Many times you feel that you're either forgetting things, or you are not remembering, or you feel your brain is not performing well, right? And this is not the mistake of the brain, but it's mistake of us, that we are overthinking, right? We are taking unnecessary stress. So I repeat, banish stress from your life if you want a healthier brain. Now, many of you might say, sir, how do you think realistically it is possible? I'm sure many of you might be laughing it out. It's easier said than done. Completely agree with you. I completely agree with you that it is easier said than done. But if you think what I'm going to talk now, you very soon will agree that many times we are taking unnecessary stress over things that we have no effect upon. Most of the time we are worrying about things that are beyond our realm of control. Should we be taking unnecessary stress for it? The things that you cannot change, things that you cannot affect, right? This is where, that's the reason I'm saying, if those of you think that like stress to hamare life mein hai, what should we do? How should we avoid it? Stress is an integral part of our life. Yes, many times stress comes, and stress is to an extent it's okay, but beyond a certain time, on things that are irrelevant, things that you should not be thinking about, if you take unnecessary stress for it, and I repeat, I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying it, 90% of the time we take unnecessary tension for the things that we should not be worried about in life. You will very soon, I'll give you loads of example. I'll give you loads of example coming up for you. Now, guys, remember this thing. It's a piece that I picked up from the world famous hot selling book called as 7 Habits of Highly Successful People by Stephen R. Covey. Now, this book sold more than 15 million copies. I repeat, this book, right? 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. For youngsters like you, I recommend this book very strongly. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I've just picked up this particular thing from there. Now, there are 2 circles. One is called a circle of influence. Other one is called a circle of concern. Now, circle of influence is things that we can influence upon, things that we can change, things that we can affect upon, things that are in our control. That is called as circle of influence. Is also called a circle of control. Like, for example, I'll give examples a little while later. But the next circle is the circle of concern. Right, we are concerned about a few things in life, right? I'll give you more examples about it. Now, circle of influence, the word influence, the word itself says something that you can influence upon, something that you can change, something that you can work on. That's the reason why it's called a circle of influence. Where a circle of concern is you are unnecessarily worried about it and you cannot do about anything about it, right? That's why, but you have concern, you have concerns over it, right? Now, it is said that world can be divided in 2 types of people. One is proactive people Proactive people are those who are only worried about things that they can control upon. That is circle of influence. But the reactive people are more who are negative people, who are more worried about nahi yaar, petrol prices are rising, government is ineffective, when will I get the vaccine, will the vaccine be effective, is Covaxin better or Covishield better, right? When will this pandemic get over, will there be a third wave? These are reactive people who are spending more time. That is, see, when will be the third wave? Can you do anything about it? You can't do anything about it. Will petrol prices touch 100? Can you do something about it? You can't do anything about it. But we are more worried about that. We start thinking, right? Is Modi government effective? What's the point? Does it really concern you? Is Telangana government working effective? No, good or bad, irrespective, it doesn't matter to you, right? You should be more focused on about, like, what should I do? Like, instead more like, for example, now circle of influence is more about things that you can control, things that you can change. Like, for example, my words, my actions, my behavior, my lifestyle, right? My habits. Can you change your habits? Yes, you can change. Can you change the way you speak your words? Suppose you have the habit of using slangs and all unnecessarily. Can you change this over a period of time? Yes, you can change, right? There are a lot of things that you can change. Can you change your behavior instead of being a reactive person? Like, for example, instead of being reactive, can you change your behavior to be more of a positive behavior wherein you are a proactive person? A proactive person have positive energy. He only thinks about things that he can control, whereas a reactive person thinks about more like the negative things around him. People are not nice, people are cruel, people stab on the back. These are all negative thoughts. Negative thoughts bring negative energy, and it's also said negative people attract negative people only in life. And if you are surrounded by negative people around you, it will kill you, it will kill your life, it will kill your success. Even if you're successful, it will be marginal, trust me. Whereas a positive person will always be surrounded by good people around him, right? He spreads positive energy, people love to spend time with him, right? He is more concerned about himself and what he can do, how he can affect or change the world, rather than how the world is changing him. Instead of that, see, that's what is proactive people. Whereas reactive people always have negativity around them. So always, if you want to grow in life, avoid people with negative mindset, avoid people who have negative thoughts, avoid people who negatively can affect your mindset. Negative people are bad, positive people are good. So if you're surrounded by positive people, there are positive vibes around you, you feel good. There are the people who motivate you, there are people who inspire you, there are people who help you grow with positive words, right? Whereas negative people, nahi kar sakta re, right? This is not right, right? Government is not caring anything for us, right? Don't our studies are gone, right? I doubt whether next year also exam will happen. I doubt whether the vaccines will ever come, right? Third wave is surely going to kill us, right? Why all that, yeah? Why all negativity? If all these words that I've said, you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about rainfall. Is saal barish hogi nahi hogi? How does it matter? Can you change the rainfall? If your thinking can improve the rainfall this year, please do start thinking, right? How other people should behave. Can you affect their actions? No, you can't affect their actions. Stop it. You be more worried about yourself. Getting it? So this is where uh, successful people, proactive people are in the yellow zone, and reactive people spend most of the time in the red zone after discussing about the Middle East war, Palestine war, the war in Kashmir, or the war, the Naxalism in India, Ulfa, or all those things. You start discussing, what happened? You are adding stress to your brain. Your brain becomes less productive. Instead, if you spend your 90% of your time, if you're spending on circle of influence, that is yellow zone, trust me, you will be a top performer one day, and you will have higher degree of success just by changing your thought process, just by being positive, just by spending time in this yellow zone. So this is where I would say, increase, if you want to grow in life, increase your circle of influence, not the circle of concern. Will I get sick? Will I be COVID positive? Why are you thinking all this? These are negative thinking. It will add on to your stress. Instead, right, I'll take my protection. Like for example, I'll wear my mask, I'll wear my gloves, I'll sanitize my hands, I'll wash my hands, I'll take precautions. But it's beyond that, it's not in my control. I'll avoid unnecessary travel, I'll do social distancing. That's what helps me staying protected. I'll do that. Rest is not in my hands. That's the attitude that you need to have. Are you getting it? How will the job market 2 years from now? Boss, you're not going to apply job now. Market can be positive, negative. You have no control over it 2 years from now, how the job market will be. Instead, you be more worried about how should I prepare for my exam. If government announces next week the exams are going to happen, how I should not be taken by surprise. I will be prepared at 1 week notice. If the government wants to conduct the exam, I will be prepared. That's a winner's mindset. That's the attitude. Remember, it's your attitude that will determine your altitude. If you have the winner's attitude, if you say, I'm not concerned about when the government is going to declare exams, but I will be prepared. I will spend my time in preparing myself and not waiting till the last minute. I will be prepared for the exam any day. That's the winner's attitude. That's the winner's mindset. So this is what you should be thinking about. This is what you should be doing, guys. And this way, if you follow it, you'll be less stressed, more productive, top performer, and success will eventually be yours. All right. Now, how do we change our habits? Right? Habits die. There is a very popular thing that we say, habits die hard. It is very difficult to change your habits. Right? It's not difficult. I'll just give you some simple mantras how you can change from negative vibes to have positive thoughts, positive energy. How simple techniques, nothing out of the world thing that I'm going to tell you. Simple techniques on how you can change your habits. Now it is said, change your habits and you can change your life, right? You are what you do. I repeat the word, you are what you do. Show me anybody who has got a job by spending most of the time on Facebook. Nobody will get a job by spending time on Facebook. Instead, you spend time reading a dictionary, your vocab would improve. An improved vocab will improve your communication. An improved communication will improve your chances of job. Am I right? You spend, I'm telling you guys, just one habit. If somebody who's thinking about changing or improving his communication, spend time, 15 minutes of time you spend every day with a dictionary. I can tell you in 6 months, your vocab will be at the level next. Every day, 15 minutes you spend with your dictionary, and we spend hours together on social media, right? But you spend 15 minutes with the dictionary. I'm telling you guys, 6 months later, your communication skill, your English, your vocab, the way you speak, you will be speaking to impress, not express, but impress also. So getting it, what did it take the sun, moon, and the earth? No. So what I do, suppose I have my mobile phone, I'll download that particular dictionary app, and especially so like whenever I'm free, right? I'll use this dictionary, learn some new words, and try to incorporate in my daily communication. And once you learn those 10 new words and start using it for the next 1 week, you'll never forget those words. Mind it, you'll never forget those words. So it's again, what? How do I improve? How did I improve my communication? Can you believe that just 10 minutes or 15 minutes of your time on dictionary can improve your communication leaps and bounds? And you remember, there is a very popular thing that when you interview people today are talking about excellent communication. Gone are the days where companies are talking about good communication. They're talking about excellent communication. And how do you improve your communication? By changing your simple habit of having a dictionary, spending 10 minutes with dictionary. 10 minutes, you read 10 new words, incorporate 10 new words every day. That means in 30 days, you would have learned 300 new words. In 6 months, you would have learned 1800 new words. Just visualize with 1800 new words that you would have added to your vocab, your communication would be wow. Your communication would be wow. What habit did you change? Just one habit of reading dictionary, right? So change your habits. and change your life. So a simple acronym that you can follow to change your habits is an acronym called as STAMP, STAMP. Now this acronym stands for set yourself up to win. That is having a winner's mindset, right? Now, for example, you do not miss out on opportunities. Have a winner's attitude. I will work hard. I will not give up. That's, I would say, winner's mindset, right? Now, for example, it is said, have you heard of a phrase which says no pain, no gain, right? If you want name and fame, you have to endure the pain. I repeat, all those of you want to have name and fame in life, you must be ready to endure the pain, right? For which you have to set yourself with that mindset that I want to win at all cost. I'm not going to give up. I'm ready to endure that pain. So set yourself. So here you should be ready that I'm going to be a winner. Let it take whatever it may. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to work hard, whatever it takes to win. Even if I have to compromise or give up my other activities, I'll give up. But I want to win here, right? So set yourself up to win. Learn the tools that you have to incorporate to win. Like for example, it can be communication. It can be your mental attitude. It can be your ability to crunch numbers. Like for example, somebody wants to become a data analytics. Somebody wants to join a top company as a data analytics. Now, what are the tools that you require? You should be good at statistics. You should be good at number crunching. It's more like somebody wants to join a multinational company and does not want to improve his communication. Is it possible that you want to join a multinational company with a 7 or 8 lakh rupees package and you don't want to improve on that tool of communication? You are average or poor in it. Then that means you're daydreaming. So learn to understand what tools would you require to achieve that, right? And then the attitude is very important. Attitude is more like, for example, as I said, what you do and how well you do it, not once but regularly, right? Attitude is more like this. Now for example, it's raining. Now there are people who want to exercise and they say, okay, let me start early morning walk, right? And suddenly they look at the sky and the sky is cloudy and they say, no, yeah, let me not go today out for walking because it's about to rain. Now what kind of attitude? It is the loser's attitude. Losers give excuses. Winners have reasons. Losers have excuses. So this is where you have to have that attitude. Whereas a person with a positive attitude, a person with a winner's attitude, what will he say? Okay, it might rain. What do I do? Instead of wearing a wind cheater, let me wear a raincoat and let me go for my morning jog. He will not miss for any reason. Losers have this attitude of giving excuses, whereas winners have the attitude of finding reasons why they should continue doing it. So attitude determines your altitude. Remember, motivation. What motivates you? Like for example, does people smile motivate you? Does your parents' happiness motivate you? Does money motivate you? Like for example, somebody wants to join a top company. Why? Because he wants to earn good money. So if money is your motivation, see how you can motivate yourself, right? If, for example, if materialistic thing motivates you, then say like you can talk to your parents. Like for example, if your parents want you to study, I'm sorry, I'm saying that if your parents want you to study well and study hard, you tell them, right? You tell them, Dad, what if I get 80% in my graduation? What would you give me, right? So your parents obviously your parents care for you. They might offer you something that might be motivating enough for you to work harder. So whatever motivates you, have a goal and work towards your goal and see what inspires you, see what drives you, right? For someone it is money, for someone it is a smile on the parents' face, for someone it can be others doing well, that motivates them. For someone it is something else. So see what motivates you. And last thing is perseverance. Perseverance is something what we call as perseverance, and persistence talks about having a never say die attitude, having the attitude, or saying that, okay, it's not only about today, it's not only about tomorrow. Success requires long-term commitment. Guys, remember, success requires long-term commitment, not just 1 week, not just 1 month, but lifetime commitment. Do you have that perseverance? Do you have that endurance to go on, not just 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, repeatedly over a period of time? So this is what you should always remind yourself. Stamp, set yourself up to win, know the right tools, have a winner's attitude, be strongly motivated. Motivation need not always come from outside. You need to be motivated from within, right? You should inspire yourself. You should not wait for external motivation. You should always, you can do it, right? You are capable. Why can't you have you deserve a good life. You deserve to be in that company. Inspire yourself. This is what we call internal motivation, right? And have the persistence and the perseverance to keep going on time and again. All right, so remember this acronym STAMP. Now, one way to change your life, change your thinking, is to get organized. Get organized for your classes, organize your time, and organize yourself. Now, how do you schedule your time? Very important. Is one of the most important thing that successful people have is they know how to manage their time well. So time management is important. Track your time, how you spend your time, right? At the end of the day, one of the days when you are about to sleep, just write down how did you spend your day. And once you write it down, you will realize that 80% of the time that you have spent in that day was non-productive, or these are the things that what I call it as time wasters. You'd be surprised. Trust me, you do this exercise today of how you spend the time yesterday. Your 24 hours of how you spend your time yesterday, if you write it down on a piece of paper, you will realize that 80 what, I'm being very liberal, you'll realize that 95% of your time was wasted. Now, many of you might say, oh, yesterday I attended one of the class. Just being physically present for a class, does it make you productive? Were you active in the class? Were you attentive in the class? Did you ask questions? Did you get yourself clarified? Are you sure of what was spoken? Do you remember? Do you remember for good? Do you remember for life, or it's just for that particular class that you remembered and now you don't remember much? If that is the case, then that means you have not productively attended the class also. So again, I'm not saying that's like most of us do that, but like most of us do not spend our time productively. 80% of a day is wasted. Track your time, how you spend your time. Schedule your study time. Write down your time. That's like this time to this time. If you want to be a good student with great marks, right? You want to join your dream college. For that, marks are important. And if you want to achieve that, schedule your study times. Decide that's like 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. I will be seriously studying separately in a room with all my gadgets aside. I'll keep my phone switched off. I'll not check messages. There will be no Facebook. There will be no Insta. I will be studying undivided attention. It is better to study 1 hour without any distraction than the entire day with your gadgets nearby you. Schedule your study time with no disturbance at all. Budget time for all your courses. Like for example, if you're going to study 1 hour, distribute that 1 hour on the subjects. Especially most of the time, you should distribute on the subject that you find it very, very tough. Right? There is a very popular saying which says, do the thing that you fear of the most, and then there would be no fear. I repeat, very popular quote which says, do the thing you fear of the most, and there would be no fear. If there is a subject that's troubling you, do that first, right? You get relieved of, your mind would be stress free, and you'll be far more successful. Other subjects becomes easy. Why? Because the tough thing you're finished first. Do not keep the worst for the last. Worst sabse pehle. Finish that first, and then the rest of subjects becomes a cakewalk for you. So allocate that study time for all the courses, and especially those courses which are tough. Finish the tough thing first, and then there is a very popular book called as Eat That Frog. You must read that book. If you want to learn lessons of life in a comic way, there is a book called as Eat That Frog. Must read. Again, these are some books that I would recommend you to. Be realistic, right? If you think that you will sit and study 10 hours a day, do not study 10 hours a day. Guys, do not, I'm not asking you to all work and no play makes a jack dull boy. Similarly, all studies and all time sitting in front of the system and seriously studying will stress out your brain, will burn out. You will feel stressed, you will feel nervous, you will feel like, oh, there's no time for, relax, enjoy your life too. What I'm saying is maintain the balance, like how what we call a work-life balance. Study also, enjoy with your friends also, spend time on Facebook, spend time on Insta. But what I'm saying is control time. Do not overspend it. Watch your screen time. How much of time are you spending on Facebook? Reduce it, right? I'm not saying avoid it or totally get rid of it. If you can do it, nothing like it, at least for some period. But if not, be realistic that 1 to 2 hours of good study is good enough to start with. Yes, but when exams dates are announced, you might have to study 4 hours or 5 hours. But as of now, 2 hours of serious study every day. Now, serious study is not attending classes. Is after the classes, what you study is serious. Be flexible. Sometimes you have some work, you are busy in that activity. So if you couldn't study one day, do not punish yourself, do not take that stress. Instead, next day you can, for the next 3 days, you can study half an hour extra. That's how you compensate. So be very flexible. So it's not that every day mandatory you have to, it's not like every day you have to brush your teeth. So similarly, one day if you had some other work or there were other pressing activity and because of which you could not study, be flexible, be realistic, right? For the next 3 or 4 days, add half an hour extra to your study schedule. That's how you can compensate. All right. So be flexible. So that's how you organize your time. Again, there is one another famous matrix called as Eisenhower matrix. Eisenhower matrix. Eisenhower, the famous US president, gave this, right? This particular matrix is a 2x2 matrix, which talks about things that we do. Things that we do are categorized into important and not important, right? Urgent, either they can be urgent or pressing things or not urgent things. So these are the 4 matrix. This is 2x2 matrix. I repeat, on the y-axis, we have got things which are important, divided into two types, important and not important. Urgent on the x-axis, urgent and not urgent. Now, quadrant one depicts those things which are urgent and important. These are what we call as firefighting things. These are pressing problems. Like, for example, assignment that you have to submit tomorrow. Can you skip it? No. Exam, which is there immediately. What happened? You did not study earlier, but you have an exam coming up tomorrow. You have not studied that. So what do? You do night out. So exams are important and studying for the exam is also urgent. So do that things. So this is how you prioritize your time. Things which are important and urgent, you have to do that first. Things which are important and not urgent, you can do it little later, but you still have to do it. Things which are not important but are urgent, see if you can delegate it to somebody else. Like, for example, light ka bill pay karna hai, right? If you have a younger brother who's free, who's relatively free, what you can do is that you can give it, you can delegate that work to them. For example, earlier I used to pay electricity bill, mobile bills, all the bills I used to spend some time and pay it online. Now my daughter is grown up. I have given her a credit card and I ensure that's like I delegate that work to her. Otherwise, I have to spend half an hour every month to spend some time logging in the Telangana e-Seva and then pay the bill and all. Now I've delegated that. Delegate is give the responsibility to somebody else. That's called as delegate. So I have given the responsibility to somebody else. So similarly, non-important work you can delegate it to somebody. That's how you can save time, right? Things which are not important and not urgent these are called as quadrant number 4 are called as time wasters. These will waste your time, and many a times you realize you are spending most of your time in quadrant 4 activities, things which are not important and things which are not urgent, right? Facebook, seeing your friend got how many likes on a post. right? Is it important? Not important. Is it urgent to see a Facebook post, right? Is it going to make a world of difference if we don't see it now? No, but it's like still we spend 2 hours. Facebook is one of the worst thing in life. Why? Because you are more worried about what others are doing in their lives, right? So avoid as much as you can. So again, this is what we call, see, I'm not saying social networking is not important. Facebook is good, but too much of time is time wasters, right? So avoid that. I'm using the word, I'm not saying don't use Facebook, but avoid it if possible. Spending too much, what I'm saying, avoid it, I am referring to avoid spending too much of time on it. All right. So there are 4 quadrants that are there: urgent and important, right? Which is the things that you should do first. Second quadrant is things which are important but not urgent. You must do it later, but surely do it. Things which are not important but urgent, you can delegate to your friends and family. And things which are not important and not urgent, eliminate it from your to-do list, right? That's what you should do. A little more urgent and important, manage those things. Quadrant 2, things which are not important, things which are important and not urgent, you must focus your time on that, right? Avoid doing things which are urgent and not important, that means delegate it. And fourth thing, limit spending your time on things which are not important and not urgent. Let me give you some examples, right? Let me give you this example. As a student, reading lecture notes, is it important? Let's focus on quadrant 2, guys. Focus on quadrant 2. I repeat, focus on quadrant 2. Reading lecture notes, important? Improving yourself, self-improvement, is it important? Yes, it's important, right? Planning your study, which subject to study, when to study and all, is it important? Yes. Exercise and health, important? Yes. Planning your daily goals, monthly goals, weekly goals and all are important? Yes, right? But if you have not studied well in advance, what happens? Just before exam, what happens? You have to finish syllabus, right? If you do not do things right now in quadrant 2, it will move to quadrant 1. For example, reading lecture notes. If you have not read the notes well in advance before time, last day before the exam, what happens? Too much of stress, right? You study overnight, you study seriously, and you feel, oh man, I am so much of syllabus. You are not able to complete syllabus, and you do not attempt all the questions in the exam. Why? Why? Because you left it when it was too late. So it, instead of not urgent, it became urgent. Like, I'll give you another example. Your faculty gave you an assignment, and the faculty gave you 5 days to do the assignment. 4 days you relax like this. 4 days you light low. And 5th day, what happens? 1 day before the assignment, now you are stressed. Oh, what should I do tomorrow? Important assignment. I have to spend 4 hours, 5 hours. So what happens? 5 days ago, it was not urgent. It was not very urgent for you. But 1 day before the assignment submission due date, now it is urgent. Doing assignment, is it important? Yes, it is important. But 5 days ago, it was not urgent. But what did you do? Because of your laziness, because of your casual approach, because of your take it for granted mindset, what did you do? You made it urgent. So in life, guys, avoid things till the last minute. Why? Because do the things that are important but not urgent now. For example, improving your communication. Is it important? Yes, very important. But is it urgent that you have to do it in the next week only or next month only? No, you are going to look for a job 2 years, 3 years from now. So you have got 3 years of time to improve your communication. Is it ample time? Yes, you can do a world of difference to yourself. But if 2.5 years you relax, do nothing, what happens? Communication, improving communication, which is not urgent today, important but not urgent, which is the quadrant 2 activity. After 2.5 years, it will come to quadrant 1. What is quadrant 1? Urgent. Now you next 3 months or 6 months I have to do a job. Oh guys, my communication is not very good. What should I do? What should I do? That's how you add on to your stress. Getting it? People who are successful, I repeat, guys, people who are successful spend majority of the time in quadrant 2, less on quadrant 1, and very, very little on quadrant 4. In fact, absolutely zero time in quadrant 4. Are you getting it? Successful people, good students spend majority of the time in quadrant 2, right? Stressed people spend most of the time in quadrant 1. And people who waste time, I repeat, people who waste time spend most of the time on 3 and 4. All right. So people who waste time spend most of the time in quadrant 3 and 4. So very important, guys, if you want to be less stressed, make your brain more active, be more productive, you want to be more successful in life, learn not to stress yourself by procrastinating or postponing things till the last minute. I understand. Jot down the things which are important, right? And prioritize those things into quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. I've taken example of you as a student, things that you do. For example, solving some stupid puzzles, right? Trivias, right? Identify Paichan Kon, right? Who was a celebrity. These are small trivias which are time waster, time pass, the time pass activities. Now, this is the time that you should not be doing time pass. You should be investing time in yourself. How do you get time? Now, those are people who say, yaar, karna to bahut kuch chahta hu, time nahi milta. I want to do a lot of things in life, but I'm not getting time. How will you get time when you're wasting your time in quadrant 4? How do you get time for quadrant 2 activities? By spending less time on quadrant 4 things. Suppose you are spending 1 hour on Facebook. As I said, spend half an hour on Facebook, save half an hour of time from Facebook, and spend more time on self-improvement, reading dictionary, communicating in English, writing some essays, right? Spending some time in logical reasoning exercises. That's how you get time. I repeat, you get time for quadrant 2 activities from spending less time on quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. Like for net surfing, many times you understand you spend 2 hours, 3 hours on net. I'm not saying don't spend time 3 hours on net. I'm saying just spend 1 hour, and 2 hours you can spend on your self-improvement. You invest in yourself and you grow. See, please understand, there's an acronym called as LEARN, LEARN. First you must learn, and then L goes off, and then you earn. I repeat, if somebody wants to earn without learn, you will be wasting your time. Somebody who does not want to learn, please understand, learning comes before earning, right? You learn and L goes off, and then earning comes, right? Learning and then comes earning. Somebody who does not want to learn will never earn. Is that okay, guys? Are the things clear? Any questions, any doubts? All right. So I think, so like I've spoken about the more important things, what you should do, how you can be more successful in life and beyond. I think I'll leave it here. I said, learn how to utilize your brain, be less stressed, do not spend time on things which are not important to you, things which are irrelevant to you, avoid it, and you'll be far more productive. You'll be less stressed. A less stressed brain will function better, right? And will help you perform better, make you more productive, and will eventually help you achieve whatever degree of success you want to achieve. I've got a lot of things to continue, but I think I've overshot the time. So we started a little late, so we overshot, but I hope most of the points that I spoke about are clear. So Shravan sir, can we start up with question answers?
Yes, sure. We'll start with it. Before that, students, you are hereby requested to ask the questions which are relevant to the topic. And let me be very specific. We are about to speak with the director of ICBM. So it is one of the prestigious business school in India. So he is the director for that school, and he is addressing your questions. And try not to make it very obvious by asking the general questions. Try and make it very simple because the time is precious. That's what sir has been saying in this session. So over to you, sir. I will unmute the students, and will you please stop sharing the screen so that I can be perfect, sir. Thank you. You're up. And first question we have is from students. You can please raise your hands so that I will be unmuting you, and so that you can ask the question one-on-one with the sir. Students, please raise your hand. We have Rohit Gupta, sir.
Right, please. Yeah, Rohit.
Rohit, go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Rohit.
Sir, how do we train our mind by just focusing on ourselves, not on others' life? Just focusing on our life and improving it. How can we train our mind?
See, one thing that I would suggest is compete with yourself, not with others. Like for example, see, no, our five fingers are different, right? Similarly, no two people are the same. Now, never compare yourself with others. But if you see that other person's communication is good, and you should also improve your communication. Learn those things. Like for example, okay, that guy has good communication skill, I should also improve, but don't try to have the same level of communication. Or if he has a particular accent, do not try to imitate the accent. But yes, if you see that other person is successful, many times in life we have ideals, who we follow ideals, and we see, oh, this guy has wonderful communication skill, let me also improve my communication skill. So you should only see those kind of things that you would like to imbibe or incorporate in you, right? But do not try to be like him. Do not try to be like him in terms of what he is doing, what is doing exactly. Do not try to be copycat. Learn to have your own individuality. Learn not to see when you compare yourself with others. That's the time you understand that's like, oh, he is much better than me, right? Negativity comes in, self-confidence comes down. That how you see yourself, oh, I'm not capable, I'm not deserving. Oh, it's he who will get the job. When that top company will come, he'll get the job, I will not get the job. What happens is that you will lower your self-esteem. You start feeling that you're not capable, you're not deserving. Automatically, with that kind of negative mindset, your performance will come down. And it will not be a surprise if he will get it, not because he deserved it, but you, in your deep down inside your mind, you spoke to yourself saying that I'm not capable, he is much more capable than me. Getting it? Please remember, I'm not saying it's overconfidence. It's good to respect everyone, but it is equally important to respect yourself. Please remember, nobody can insult you without your permission, right? If somebody is demeaning you, it's only because you are not respecting yourself. Getting it? So compare yourself with no one but yourself. So learn from everyone. As I said, learn from everyone, but the benchmark should not be somebody else. Okay. Now, somebody else has good communication skill. I would also like to improve my communication skill, but he wouldn't be a benchmark for me. Getting it?
Yes, sir. Okay,
Yeah.
sir, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rohit. Yeah. Pratap? Pratap Bhargavi?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
I'm glad to speak with you, sir.
Pleasure.
Sir, please can you tell how to stay calm, how to stay calm every time?
Calm. How to stay calm?
Yeah, yeah, sir.
See, it's not easy. Honestly speaking, it is easier said than done. Staying calm is not easy. It requires
Yes, sir.
a lot of practice. Like for example, you see, so like there are a lot of people who meditate and who knows how to calm their mind. Now, it's not easy, but it's not difficult either. Many times, say like for example, attitude of others. Many times we are affected by the attitude of others. Somebody writes a comment. Now, somebody writes a comment and then you take it personally to your heart. Now, please understand, what others think about you, should it really matter to you, right? For me, what you think about yourself,
Yes, sir.
you are your biggest critic. What you think about yourself is far more important than what others think about you. If you only think about impressing others or changing the attitude of others, you'll be wasting your rest of the life. You cannot make everyone happy all the time, right? One of the many times the biggest area of
Yes,
distress
sir.
or stressed mind is we take unnecessary tension of what others are thinking. right? Are you making others happy? Are you living up to the expectations of others? That's the biggest area of discomfort that human mind faces. Instead, you try to do your best and do not worry about it. In fact, I'm sorry, I'm slightly deviating from the topic. Uh, and again, it's not that I don't feel stressed. Like, for example, right from the first day of lockdown till date, I'm donating food. I started with 100 food packets delivery to poor and the needy. I'm running a campaign called as Food for the Needy, and I started with 100 packets with my own contribution. I started 100 food packets. I started distributing. Later, my friends started helping, donating for the cause, and I increased it to 300 packets. And after 300 packets, I started distributing masks to kids. Right. Later on, I started distributing sanitizers. When I posted on Facebook, one of the intellectual commented on that. Sir, you're nice that you're giving a 3-ply mask. Why can't you give a N95 mask? Now, I took it seriously. Trust me, for half an hour, I was not happy. For half an hour, I took it to my heart that, oh, people are not happy that I'm giving mask, but people are saying, why this mask, why N95? I'm distributing food at slums, and there is one intellectual who commented, sir, but social distancing is not followed. Now, I wanted to say to that person, boss, come and donate food at a slum, and then you see where is social distancing, right? People going crazy over food. But see, there is a very popular Kishore Kumar song which says, "Kuch to log kahenge, logon ka kaam hai kehna." Then slowly I realized, why am I taking unnecessary stress on what people are saying? These are people who are sitting in the comfort of the rooms and giving only gyan. Right? The person who said, select, sir, why don't you give N95 mask? Never said, sir, I'll give you 20 N95 mask. You can distribute it yourself. Right? People can give you advice, but people can't help you. Avoid them. Right? These are going to be people who should not mean anything to you. Thinking about them adds on to the stress, makes you less productive, and probably that's what they want. Right? What should matter to you is your family, what your family thinks about you. Right? Others, I don't think so. Their opinion and their attitude really matters to you. Should matter to you. Shouldn't.
Yes, sir. Now we have Pratap here.
Yeah, Pratap.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Ms. Bhargavi.
Sir, from your webinar, I have drawn a conclusion that we have to be self-obsessed and we have to be a little selfish, sir. Is it correct, sir, to be selfish and not bothering others?
See, everyone is selfish. To be very honest, now I just give the example that I'm distributing food, and when some of my friends congratulate me, I say I'm selfish. Why? Because I get excited when I see a smile on the child's face. Now
Yes.
I work hard. Why? Because I'm selfish. Why? Because I'm a materialistic person. I want to buy good things. I'm selfish.
Yes, sir.
Not anything else, but everyone. So, like, why do you study hard? Why do you study hard? Because deep down inside, there is a desire for you to get more marks. Why do you want to get more?
Yes, sir.
Because you want to get a good college. Why do you want to join a good college? Because you are selfish that you want to get a good job, good salary. It's not wrong to be selfish.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, there is a difference between selfish and cunning. Selfish
Yes, sir.
is more like thinking about yourself. Everyone has a
Yes, sir.
right to be selfish, but it's wrong to be cunning. That's like wherein to attain your goals, you are hurting others, you are using others, you are exploiting
Yes, sir.
others. That's cunning.
Yes, sir.
Nothing wrong in being selfish, but wrong in being cunning. Hurting others, using others for your gains, that's wrong. Right?
Yes, sir.
See, one thing I would always suggest is, if you earn good, you're selfish. You want to earn more money.
Yes,
But
sir.
that's not only for selfish reason. You want to earn more money, but also a part of the money, if you want to utilize for the welfare of the society or the community, it's not wrong. Because finally,
Yes, sir.
see, if you don't have money, how will you do charity? Right? If you're not
Yes, sir.
successful, how will you help your other friends to get jobs? So
Yes,
nothing
sir.
wrong in being selfish. First, like for example, remember in flights also they say, in case the oxygen pressure comes down, first you put your mask and then put mask onto others. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So first you think about yourself, then you think about others. Nothing wrong
Sir,
in that.
my other question is that, So as I'm a teenager, how can you give me some preventive measures so that I can develop myself and how to be matured, sir?
See, again, there is a saying which says, uh, you get mature by interacting with people, right? Learn to interact with people, right? Learn to
Yes,
learn
sir.
from others. See the world in a realistic thing. uh, when you study things, again, this is one word of advice that I want to give to youngsters. When you study things, see how it is applicable to real life.
Yes,
Just
sir.
don't study for exam, study for life. See how can I apply this particular principle in real life, right?
Yes, sir.
Start thinking creatively. Start making a meaningful contribution, right? For example, act of random kindness, right? If you want to be mature, understand how what people are feeling, right? It's what we call as empathy, right? Empathy is
Yes, sir.
understanding the feeling of others. Now, it can be as simple as, if you I once I grow up, I will do charity. Why do you need to grow up to do charity? For example,
Yes, sir.
a dog outside your home, right? You eat less and you give a part of your food to that dog. Charity begins there. You don't need to
Yes,
be
sir.
rich. You don't see. This is what I call maturity. When you start thinking about others, when you are not selfish only about yourself, when you start thinking about others, when you think about your family, when you think about, that's where you show maturity. When you are
Yes, sir.
when you are listening, you start listening to others meaningfully. You're acting mature, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
there are ways in which we can show maturity.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Bhargavi. Yeah, Nupur Jain, Miss Nupur.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Nupur.
My question is that I get very easily distracted. So some tips that I can stop doing that.
See, again, this is what we call the multitasking, and it's not only you. I think thousands and millions of us face this particular problem, wherein it's like, while working something, we are also looking at our mobile, we are also looking at WhatsApp, Facebook is also on this. Now, for example, if while you're working on a system, if there are 10 tabs which are on, already that means you are focusing on too many things at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, for example, can you focus on this hand? Yes, you can focus on this hand. Can you focus on this hand? Yes, you can focus on this hand. But if I ask you to focus on both the hands together, is it possible? No.
No.
You'll turn squint.
Yeah.
Same is the case. See, when we start thinking about too many things at the same time, right? That's the time when we get distracted, when we get tense, when we get nervous, when we feel stressed. Why? Because there are too many things going on in the mind. And this is what I would suggest, especially like, for example, you get distracted while studying.
Yeah.
Ask yourself this question: what's the cause of distraction? If the mobile phone is the cause of distraction, like for example, now while taking this session, I put my phone on mute and I turned my phone. I'm not kidding. I turned my phone. There are so many messages there. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Messages. I've deliberately turned my phone and kept it. Why? Because I should not even hear ting, nor I should see some screen illumination also. That's why I turned it. Getting it, so no distraction. Now my entire focus is on this now. My
Okay.
focus is now, this is where I prioritize. For me, this session is important. For me, my students are important. For me, knowledge sharing is important. For me, changing their mindset is important. How I can do to the level best extent, that's my focus now, right? And I'm kept away. I've bolted the room also. I've bolted the room also so that I should not have anybody from outside to distract, right? If I keep my room open, probably the dog might come in, probably my daughter might come in, and that would be a distraction. I don't want that.
Okay. And one more, sir, and one more question, sir. Like I keep on things postponing. Like if I think I want to study this today, like it will be just going on for 2 to 3 days. Then I will on depends on my mood. Like how to stop that?
There is one principle it's called as the law of delayed gratification. There is a principle called as law of delayed gratification. Now, gratification is more like, remember, so like when a kid, you know how the parents teach kids to walk?
Yeah.
They keep the favorite toy of the kid within reach, and
Yeah.
when the kid does reach that, the parents give it a hug and all. That's how we train our dogs. That's how we train. Remember, so like you see, so like some dolphin fishes in a theme park doing some stunts. right? They do a stunt. And when they do a stunt successfully, what does a trainer do? It gives it a fish. It's
Yeah.
more like a reward. Similarly, if you are delaying things, or if you are getting distracted, or if you lose focus, and this is a common thing, it's not only with you, it happens with millions of us. What you do is that keep focus on one activity at a time. Do not touch upon other activity till you do this, and give yourself a reward, not somebody else from outside. Give yourself a reward for it, that if I do this, I will be entitled for this gift, right?
Okay.
Now this gift can be like, for example, going to your friend's place. It can be as simple gift as that, right? Only after I've done this assignment, I will go and meet that long lost friend, right? I'll spend time with my friend, or I'll go for that movie, or I'll buy that small purse that I was looking for, only if I do this. Getting it?
Okay.
So you're not dependent on your parents, you're not dependent on your teachers. You are keeping a self goal. Only if I do this, I'll be entitled for this. This is called as law of delayed gratification, right? You
Okay.
don't need somebody from outside. You yourself can do it.
Okay. And you said about the to-do list to prepare it
Absolutely.
every day.
Yes.
So can this help me to not to
Absolutely.
delay the
Absolutely.
things?
Now, for example, you write a to-do list, and this work that you have done, spending time on this, suppose it is a 3-day activity and you have only done 50%. So next day activity, that would be the first priority. It
Okay.
should be carried forward to the next day. And keep that to-do list every day evening when you go back to the bed. Tick off what you have done and what you have not done, and prepare a to-do list for tomorrow, today night. Just
Okay.
before you go to the bed, hit the sack, write down the to-do list, and that would be your, how like, for a minister, for a MLA, a PA would be there who would carry his, sir, this is your schedule.
Yeah.
Similarly, your to-do list would be your PA. He or that to-do list will tell you what you're supposed to do in that particular day.
Okay.
Getting it?
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Most welcome. Most welcome. Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Sana Lakhani.
Hello, very good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, just a little bit question is that how can we prevent from distracting phones like so much of smartphones like that?
See, again, phones are necessary evil. Now, I'm not giving Gyan, but my screen time uh, usually is high, right? Now what I do is that, like, occasionally, now what many times I decide that I want to read an article. Now there is an app called as Maxter in my phone, and I have this habit of reading one article every day, mandatory, right? So what I do is that I prioritize it. Now, first I'll read that article, then I have a Facebook, I have Instagram account. I spend hour. Easily, I'm telling you, I spend an hour on that. But that will be only after I've read that article. It's more like first thing first. पहले ये करूंगा, बाद में दूसरी चीज करूंगा. First, I would read that article invariably. And then only if I have the time left over, if I'm sitting idle, if I have nothing else to do, then I would spend time on Facebook and Insta or WhatsApp. Getting it? But my screen time, first thing is my article. I read it on my phone only. That article I read on phone. I have the habit of reading newspaper also on phone, right? Daily Hunt. I download that app called as Daily Hunt. I read news items on that. But I read first those, and then balance time. And again, now I've also decided that in one go, I'll not be spending more than 15 minutes in one go on the social media platforms, whether it is Twitter, uh, Facebook, Insta, right, or WhatsApp. I'll not be spending at one go more than 15 minutes. But this 15 minutes can be 5 times in a day, but no more than 15 minutes. So you can schedule these kind of timings. There are people, I've got one of my friends that I know very well, that he checks WhatsApp only twice a day. Before he enters the office at 9 a.m. and after he exits from the office at 6 p.m. Between 9 and 6, दुनिया इधर की उधर हो जाए, that guy will never check his WhatsApp. So you know for sure, and he ensure that everyone is informed about it. So if I'm sending him WhatsApp and I want him to check, then I have to call him up and tell him, boss, an important message I'm sending on WhatsApp, please check and respond. Till that he will not check. And you can have your own, you can have your own principle. Be a self-guided principle guy, right? Again, there are a lot of people who follow that particular schedule. Schedule your timings. Give slots. Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Jitendra sir. That was a lovely response, like from you to our students. And I think like it's getting delayed, and I would like not like to waste any of your time. And that was a lovely session with you, sir. To be honest.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks again, sir.
And students, thank you so much for your participations. And any last words you would like to share, that will be lovely, sir.
Really appreciate your time. One very important thing that I wanted to tell students is, I always keep telling to my management, the students also, all those students who come to join, first thing first that I tell is, you have two options: enjoy today and struggle for the rest of your life, or the second option that you have is struggle today to enjoy for the remaining part of your life. So one simple word of advice for you is, work hard today, invest your time in today to have a better tomorrow, because the best time that you're going to spend is tomorrow, not today. So do not have short-term focus, look for long-term, set goals, work towards your goal. A day that you have not improved even this much, let it be 0.1%. If you have not learned something new every day, or you have not learned something new today, you have wasted your day. So spend time on your self-improvement. A improved person has a better chance of getting placed or achieving success in career, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, whether you want to be a musician, whether you want to be a professional. You can achieve the degree of success, whatever you aim at, only if you are focused, only if you are serious, only if you are committed, then only it's possible. So invest time today, spend today for a better tomorrow. Invest time on your self-improvement. That's the key, right? That's a simple suggestion that I would give. And sincere thanks to all of you for your valuable time and giving me this opportunity. And feel free to come back to me anytime. Shravan sir has my number, so you can reach out to me anytime, and I'll be more than happy to be of any assistance to you or any guidance, right? And I'm sure your faculties are great. I've been in touch with quite a few of them, and take their help. If you want any guidance, they are the best people to advise and help you. They'll hold your hands to take you to your destination, right? That's it. Thank you so very much, sir. Shravan
Thank you
sir,
so much, sir.
thanks a million for this opportunity. And Rangareddy sir also, million thanks for introducing me to this August gathering. I'm really pleased, really honored to be here, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Honor is all ours, and we really appreciate your time for us. And we're looking forward for many of these sessions with our students. And thank you so much for your valuable time for our students. And the students, thank you so much for the participating, and thanks for the making the most out of it. Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Great day, sir.